All right, so happy stock market crash Monday. Here we go. All right, so what am I doing right now? I'm getting prepared to work on another film, and for me, warming up for that's really important. And the way that I warm up for any kind of film project, or as my Canadian friends would say, project, I practice, right? I sketch. And the way I do that is I put a template together, usually an orchestral template that might be in the same spirit of the score that I'll be working on. Or sometimes I'll just put together an orchestral template just because I like the way that orchestral instruments sound. And being a classical musician, I love using them. So again, you know, and I kind of go through and I just come up with ideas, and I hit the record button and I have just a sketch template, that I use. Just noodle around is what I do. I do some improvisations, and I get myself in this zone to create. And so, getting in the zone to create's really important. And I have a few practical tips for composers who are trying to figure out a time in which they can actually make the most of their, I guess, sketch session. So there's a few things I want you to keep in mind. First of all, the amount of caffeine you're going to consume is going to really influence how you work. And anybody in the creative professions knows that any sort of substance you put in your body, mood or mind altering, is going to really affect the outcome. And often, the more mood or mind altering substances you have in your body actually can have quite a negative impact on your overall outcome. That's just an aside. Health and wellness, which is important. The other thing is, before you sit down to write, have something healthy, a few eggs if you eat eggs or you're not allergic to them, or some kind of protein that's got fat in it. MCT oil is another one. Something for your brain, because it really helps if your brain has some fuel before you sit down to sketch. Because I notice that a lot of musicians and composers will sometimes just get into it without really thinking about real simple things like, am I hydrated? Have I had, am I calorically at a point where I can work? I know that sounds weird because it's such a sedentary thing that we do. So anyway, I've had all that stuff, and, I'm going to start and explain a little bit about what we're looking at here. So this is Vienna Mir Reverb, and I have a complete instrument patch system set up. Now, one of the things I like to do when I sketch, given that I'm not a keyboard principal, is I'll use the transposition button, and I'll actually suggest I'll input a different tonic, just so I can hear, for example, what things will sound like in a different key. So this allows me to retemper give me an idea to hear how something's going to sound in a different tonal center when I'm using the transposition key. So that's just an easy way, since all the instruments are tempered in sample libraries to all be the same concert pitch. It's good to sometimes use the transposition function if you're wanting to hear how something would sound in a different tonal center. So, for example, D Dorian. Well, how about maybe doing Dorian with a different tonic, say set up as an F? Or hearing the same idea in Lydian, but this time being in A flat, you know. And this is just a way that I acclimate myself to composing. You know, getting yourself sort of acclimatized to the sound of an orchestra is such a great way to push yourself into different compositional realms. Now, in the case of the instruments I'm using, they're all here, and they're all in the Mir arena, and they're in the Grosser Saal stage hall. And I've got them arranged, you know, and I can mess around with the arrangement. I can put the brass more up front if I want. I can make adjustments to the level of reverberation for each one of the instruments. You can change mic placement. I can change the main microphone positioning or the main microphone placement for the ensemble. And all of these things will affect the overall sound. So it's another great way to sort of experiment with ambience and space. So, for example, let's change the space. So we're going to change this into the synchron stage. Different sound entirely. Whether you're playing a phrase that's really great or not, you should also record everything that you're doing, because in this way you can mine different ideas while you're sketch writing. So again, I should have had the record on the whole time, but I didn't, so let's put it back. And you can always Shift R if you've played something and you want to hear it back. So that's another great Logic feature. How are velocity and aftertouch may be affecting your overall performance? So here, how moody can you make things? You know, again, it's just a workout for your ears and for your brain. And hopefully some of these things that you sketch out actually will be turned into compositions. So this is how I often start. And the only intention is to just get myself in a space where when I do sit down to seriously write or work some of these sketch ideas out, my ears have been acclimatized and attuned to the overall sonic kind of template I'm trying to kind of create. So it's a long way of saying just practice writing every day. Some good stock market crash music. That's very wholesome. Can't think of great stock market crash music today, but maybe I will later when I look at my portfolio. Anyway, I hope everybody's doing great. Have a wonderful day, and peace.